So Nick, what did you watch today, or the two last weeks?
What was that sentence?
What did you watch the last 2 weeks, Nick? Because it's another
Uh,
episode of ABC.
this is another episode of ABC. We watched Akudama Drives
I
episodes
think
7 and 8,
7 and 8. I'm gonna. That sounds good enough. 7 and 8,
and then Muno no Nana
8 and 9.
and 8 and 9, I think, and then 7 and 8 of Moriarty the
Moriarty,
Patriot, I
Moriarty
believe,
the
is what
Patriot.
we've watched.
That's correct. Let's go ahead and talk about Muno no Nana. Despite the fact that I watched all 6 of these episodes, like 4 hours ago,
Uh-huh.
um, could not tell you what happened. It all became like just this massive blur.
All right. Wow, that's, I mean, not ideal, putting it mildly, seeing as how the first half of all of these episodes, like the first episode of all of the shows we're doing today, I watched a week ago.
Okay. Well, I will try to help you out with Donna. So, in Talented versus Talentless, part three, episode 7, or episode 8, um, we basically get the continuation of what happens with Yuka and Nana, where Yuka's now dead. I believe it's implied that Nana threw her body over the river,
Hmm.
sorry, into the sea, and now she's stuck with basically all the fucking zombie bodies and the other kid bodies,
Right. Oh, right.
other kid's body, yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
her weird necrophiliac boy toy.
Right. Who's like decomposing quickly right now, as far as I can remember.
Yes, he's decomposing very quickly. The show makes a kind of a note that like this is very important because it'll come into play later. That's something the show actually likes to do a lot. Is like those little like small moments that like affect the plot later on are always very keenly shown. It happens later on in this episode with the window and how it closes and opens and how it's very important.
Hmm.
Um, So Nana hatches a plan to basically make herself seem innocent after all this, because now I think it's at this point it's been like I think 4 people have now gone missing, who
Yeah.
all basically were talking to her the entire time during before they had gone missing. So she's a little sketch right now, and she's trying to not be so sketch.
Right.
So what does she do? She kills a fifth person.
Yeah. She finds the person alone in the woods, and she's like, "Well, here I go killing again."
She kills I think it was Habu. I think her name is.
I think so.
The girl who needs to eat reptiles, but apparently
Yeah.
also frogs are reptiles in this world.
She's got the poison dart skin. You have to look into
Then the,
logic.
not the poison dart skin, Nick. She's got the poison like saliva.
Oh, right. That's what.
Sorry.
Well, I mean, I guess her sweat would also be poison. I'm assuming
Uh, I don't know.
it
Maybe
was just
no.
her bodily fluids. I think is what it said. Maybe it was
Yeah,
just her saliva. I don't remember. It was a very small moment.
they're trying to drain our bodily fluids, Nick.
She was not on screen for very long. She basically showed up, almost ate a frog, said something about her poison, and then got stabbed in the neck with a needle.
Yep.
It was less than 60 seconds, I'm willing to bet.
And now Nana has her phone, and she hatches a plan to kill the girl's friend.
Right.
Um,
Because Nana also realized from Habu while they were out there talking that Habu was having a fight with her other friend who could teleport.
yes,
And so Nana's decided, I could use this to my advantage and use their fight to kill another human being.
yes. Moreover, it's to kill her while she's with everyone else, so people don't think that she's the killer anymore.
Right.
Specifically Kyoya, because she doesn't care about anyone else, because they're all fucking idiots. So she hatches her plan. We don't see what this plan is. We just see
Yeah,
it
the plan
unfolding.
just sort of occurs off screen. I don't actually remember the next time we see her, but the next thing I remember is we go hiking in the woods together.
An important piece that we just left out here was that she goes into the room of Habu's best
Oh,
friend
right,
and
yeah.
plants the little
The
salt,
contacts.
yeah, the little salt candies in the contacts.
Hmm.
With the poison that's either Habu's or her own, we don't know, and I don't think she ever says which one it was either.
Yeah.
Just that she needs to throw it away afterwards. Um, and then we go hiking in the woods, and Nana tells them the theatrical story of how how she found out about Yuka's secret,
Hmm.
and how
That
she
girl's
got
straight up
yeah, how
crazy.
she got chased by the zombies and all the people. She got really sad. She still accepted Yuka though, but Yuka ended up killing
Mhm.
herself.
and then I heard his voice, and he was sad that Yuka's a crazy bitch, and then Yuka was like, "I'm coming, my love," and took a dive off the cliff.
It was all very
Was the
extra.
I mean, it was. To be fair, when, like you said, 4 or 5 people have
Yeah.
not died around you, you gotta have to come up with some shit to be like, look, it's not. I'm not the reason why this is happening.
It's society's fault.
In our This Show is Among Us, Nana is now killed 4 people and is now self-reporting a body. It's not looking great for her.
So then
But
she
somehow she convinces them, like, hey, look, this girl was a necromancer. I can show you the proof because here's all these dead bodies in the woods. Hey, by the way, we should put them to rest. Let's burn them. She gives Kyoya the opportunity of, like, if you want to search them, I'll let you. It would be weird to touch dead bodies, but go ahead if you really want to search them. But Kyoya's like, nah, fam, I'm gonna stare straight at you this whole time.
Yeah, she was trying to. It was a double bluff. She was trying to debate him, but have him catch the debate,
Right.
and it worked. Fucking 5DL chess over here, thinking a couple moves ahead.
Exactly, because she made it look like she wanted Kyoya to search the bodies, but what she actually wanted was Kyoya to think she wanted him to search the bodies so he wouldn't search the bodies, because if he had searched around, she would be fucked right now.
She'd be absolutely screwed. She would have lost.
I mean, not to be fair, that's not saying that she's not fucked by the end of this, because oh boy, is she in a pickle at the end. But we'll get there here in a minute.
Call this girl Magnus because she's a grandmaster of chess.
Did you just look up who the reigning world champion of chess is?
You didn't hear me typing. I knew his face. Okay, Nick, I knew his face. I knew he was a grandmaster. I just didn't know his name. I knew it started with an M.
Is it Magnus?
Magnus Carlsen. He is.
Oh, Magnus Carlsen.
Yeah,
For
he's
some
a
reason, I had
grandmaster.
that backwards. For some reason, I thought his name was Carl Magnuson, and I don't
Oh.
know why.
Well, see, there you
think
go. You can't fucking blame me. I
I
knew
think that's
who
a
he
character in Sherlock.
was. Not in these webs we watched.
Not in the episodes we watched.
Yeah.
But anyways, so we've burned all the bodies in the woods. Kyoya has collected 0 information on the bodies and is instead stared at Nana the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
So now we return to the dorm, only to find out there's another dead body.
We hear a scream. And
Yeah, we hear a scream. We run to the room of the other gal and find another dead body. Her eyes, not scratched out, but she's scratched around her eyes, clearly in horrific pain.
And she's now, like-
Kyoya does his Sherlock impression and deduces the contacts must have been poisoned.
He deduces a lot. Like, he does a great fucking job at, like, going through the steps.
Yeah, and to be fair, by deduces, what I actually mean is he just straight up drinks it and almost dies. It would have died had he not been
Immortal.
Yeah.
Well, not immortal. Vulnerable. Immortality is a different thing that'll be coming in to play later.
Right.
Not in this show, but in another show.
I mean, to be fair, if you are invulnerable and you can drink poison and figure out that it's a poison immediately, I don't see why you wouldn't drink poison.
Yeah, like that was... He's using his abilities really well. Sure, it fucking hurt, but like he figured out what it was.
Now, we were giving him shit before about like he wanted to like investigate the body to find out like if it had been poisoned or shit like that. Maybe that was his plan all along. He was just gonna like drink other people's blood.
Yeah. And we get a little moment here where Nana opens the door almost immediately. It's very important that she does this because, sorry, not the door, the window.
The window.
Yes, the window has an actual handle that you can open it on, but it doesn't work that way. Because there's like something broken with the window. Instead, she opens it kind of in the counterintuitive way, where she opens the one that isn't supposed to be moving.
Right. This is something that I didn't really understand at first, because like they made that point of like, oh, this side is jammed. It's only the other side that opens. But like the side that opens was in my mind the side you would go for first, because basically like if you walked in the room and looked at it, it's the one in front of you. It's the one directly in front of you. So if I was like, I'm going to open one of these 2 windows, you would choose the one directly in front of you. They did mention later on why it was unintuitive to choose that one, which was because only the one pane, only the one that was stuck had an actual handle on it. So you'd go for the handle, which kind of makes sense, but I mean, my windows don't have handles like that, so
one,
I don't
it
know
should
if I
have
would
had
do
a
that.
handle, and 2, it should have been in front of the other pane.
Yeah. As it stood, like, I definitely could understand why Nana would go for that window, especially if those windows could open either way. It's like, if you knew, like, that window could open either way, you would just go for the one that's in front of you. Like, fuck the handle.
Well,
I just put my hand on the glass and open it.
Yeah. And then this is enough for... Wait. Sorry, not just yet. Kyoya just still doesn't have like a discernible evidence as to like what happened. So like they kind of split up and they go look for Habu, I think, and they can't find Habu.
Uh,
So
okay, do
yeah,
they?
yeah,
I don't remember
they
if they
go look for
split.
someone. It's
Okay,
really weird. They
maybe
kind of
you're right.
split up for a little bit, and then they come back, back to the dead body, where they. This is where Kyoya has his whole moment, his whole L moment to try and like pin
Right,
it all down on our girl,
Nana.
Anana.
Yeah, where he's like, "I've been staring at you all day." First, he starts out with the window thing. I forgot what he starts out with. The
Uh,
key points that he hits is the window thing was weird. That you immediately went for the unintuitive close window
yeah, which
rather
meant
than the
that
window
he
with the
had to
handle.
have been in the room at some point.
Right.
She says, well, I was here, to help her out at some point." He says, "Okay, well, that's good enough. That's sure. Like,
Hmm. And then he
that's
hits her
possible."
with like the text messages were weird in some way.
Text messages were weird because one happened at 3 o'clock. Um, Basically, like it seemed like it was someone was trying to make it seem like they had resolved their conflict,
Uh huh.
so that the other girl wouldn't have felt weird about putting contacts in her eyes because she would have probably known her friend's ability, which is poison.
Hmm.
So if they're still having beef, she'd be a little like, "This is a little suspect. I don't want her to hurt me." But now that they're all buddy buddy, she doesn't think bad about it. She doesn't think twice about it.
Right. He pointed out that Nana was one of only like two people or three people.
So I've been in the woods, or
Yeah, not just
not.
who've been in the woods, but weren't in class that morning.
Yeah, one of them was Habu, one of them was her, and then one of them was Yuka.
Yeah.
So she was in the woods where we think Habu was where we think Habu may have died. Two, she really wanted us to. Well, not she. Nana really wanted Kyoya and the gang to burn the bodies, which would have gotten rid of the evidence. And she's the one that wanted it. Um, the last bit was whether or not the last connection was between Habu, establishing the connection between Habu and Nana, which was the phone.
Yeah.
And this was basically the crux of his argument, is that she probably had the phone on her. So she tries to pat her down, and it doesn't work.
Yeah, the
And
phone's
that's
not there.
the end of the episode 7.
Mhm.
We pick up back at episode 8. She doesn't have the phone. And now he's looking a fool. After having this
Yeah.
really cool moment where we actually did like kind of figure everything out. And
Right.
Nana was like, "Oh shit, fuck."
But he didn't expect Nana to have worked out a way around this, which is that she basically set up
A dead body to
yeah,
set
quite
this
literally a dead drop on the phone.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was a dead body whose finger would like slowly decompose and eventually like bend down to touch the send button at some point.
And this was part of the debate. Had
Yeah.
Kyoya actually gone to search, he would have found it.
Exactly. Um, but by now the dead body, because as we pointed out earlier, they decompose very quickly when the necromancer's not controlling them.
And it was
Has
burned.
Yeah, it was burned and was already into like an unrecognizable pile of gush, even if it hadn't been burned. So Nana is now looking real clean, and now Kyoya is looking real bad. Nobody is a fan of Kyoya at the moment. Everybody thinks that he was a douchebag who just accused a perfectly innocent person, who's also leader of their class. And Kyoya still doesn't believe Nana. Kyoya still knows, like, I was set up. Like, this is so shit.
Yeah, at this point, like
Um,
he knows that she's guilty. She just needs to actually find the evidence of it, which
Right.
isn't really the way it's supposed to work. But whatever.
Exactly. I mean, to be fair, I mean, you're right. It isn't the way it's supposed to work, but also like because he's just one dude, and if you genuinely thought like this person is definitely killing off my friends one by one, I mean, I would be on the train Merc a bitch.
Yeah.
If that's just me though, I would
Oh.
not be playing like I need to find all of the evidence to properly accuse this bitch. I'd be like, I'm gonna go ahead and kill you first, find the evidence later.
But then people think you're the killer. Well, actually, it doesn't matter because you can't die.
Yeah, he can't
Alright,
die.
Yeah,
So
Kyoya can't die. So now,
although maybe that's his thing is he can only get killed by his friends.
he doesn't have friends. He has
That's true.
applications for best friends right now, Nick.
It's true. His application's out for best friend forever.
But that happens a little bit later. What's going on now is that Nana is basically trying to be a lookout, trying to make it seem like she's on their side more and more.
Right.
With this play, and out comes Inukai. Inukai.
Yeah, something like that.
Out comes the dog girl.
I never
Uh,
remember what her name is.
I just call her the dog girl. And then they start talking a little bit. She, starts to nod off after the knuckles like, hey, you should, go to sleep.
Go to sleep.
And then she wakes up. Nana wakes up, and Inukai's just there with a box cutter right next to her throat.
Yep. And she's like, if you could really read my
Shank a
mind,
bitch.
how come you haven't realized why I'm here?
Yeah.
They have a little very menacing, threatening conversation of like, I'm gonna cut you so good. But Dog Girl gets distracted for a moment, and Nana slaps her hand into the wall, or smashes her hand into the wall, so she drops the box cutter.
Once again, the show does the thing where it makes very important moments very I would say obvious, but not so much that it feels like it's talking down to you like some shows would do.
Uh-huh.
And in the translation, they do it very well, where they italicize the little cue. And that's that Inukai calls her Nana-san, or...
Yeah.
Yeah, Nana-san? Is that... Yeah, she calls her Nana, right?
She doesn't use her normal, weird speech impediment ending.
Right. That's the important part. I was wondering whether or not she called her Nana her first name. Anyways, she calls her Nana-san.
She definitely calls her Nana.
Yeah, and not Nana-san.
I forget if it was Nana... I forget if it was Nana-san or Nana-chan, but it was definitely not Nana-shan, which is what she's been calling her.
Yeah, it was not... The... Spoiler alert, it's a fake Inukai. Calls her Nana-san. Yeah. The real one usually says Nana-shan.
Yeah.
And later on, we find out that Nana also kind of picked up on the little thing. But it was all, once again, it was a debate.
Right.
Some of the girls...
Fake Inukai is out here trying to, expose a bitch, basically.
Yep.
Other people show up, and fake Inukai's like, I'm gonna, go back to my dorm, be a happy person again. But don't think you're safe, bitch. I'm coming for you tomorrow at school.
The next day, she has a little present and tries to get Nana to guess what it was.
Because you can read my mind. You don't know what's in it, so just tell everybody what's in it before you open it. Because this is a logical game to play for some reason.
And I was like, I'm fucking tired, bitch. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
But Inukai is very, very persistent. She's going to keep asking her after lunch, after school, tomorrow, the day after, in the shower.
When you're asleep?
Yep.
In front of everybody?
So this is what kind of confused me. Not completely, but in comes, what's his face? Kyoya with the teacher. I thought the teacher was the guy in the opening at the end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I always thought that guy was the teacher.
Uh-huh.
We find out who he is in this episode. It's not the teacher.
I did kind of think he was a teacher. I knew he wasn't the teacher.
Yeah.
But I always thought it was kind of like how there definitely feels like there should be more people on this island than we ever see.
Right.
I thought that was just going to be a teacher of another class, or the principal or something.
Right.
But as we find out later, it is not.
Yeah, Kyoya walks into Inukai doing the same thing to Nana, asking her what's in the box.
Yeah, this is after lunch now. Nana's doing it again, or Inukai's doing it again, just like she said. And Nana thinks real hard. I'm trying to hear your inner voice, but I can't hear it. All I can hear
is too high or too loud.
Yeah. Because all she's hearing is people saying, "I love you, Nana-shan," or something to that effect.
Yeah, some random thing. Basically, what's her face had a fucking little sticker on her back.
Yeah.
It was a stupid keep me joke.
Yeah.
And that was good enough for her to Nana to basically fool everyone else, because that's what she's trying to do, fool everyone else. She doesn't care about whether Inukai believes or not. Everyone else is now thoroughly tricked.
And important for Nana, she grabs it really quickly off the back of Inukai so nobody can see that it was written in Nana's handwriting.
Yeah. And it was bath salts and little bath bombs was the little present, but who cares a shit about that? So how do we get to the cave from here? I don't remember. Because I think Nana's out. Oh wait, Nana and Inukai go to the cliff to talk it out, and that's when Inukai reveals herself to be fake. After Nana's like, "Hey, you're a fake. I know you're a fake. Look at all these cues." And then the guy's like, "Ha! You finally figured it out after it was so obvious." And it's the guy from the opening at the end.
Yeah.
Pinstripe suit. Yep. They go over to this little cave. That's a little hidey hole for him, and he reveals the backstory of the last school, the last cohort of students
Yeah,
that were there,
the previous whatever years,
yeah,
all the dead kids that we found in the woods
which was
with the necromancer
5
girl.
years ago, I think he says.
I think it was 5 years ago. Yeah,
Basically says everyone basically there was a civil war. Everyone hated each other. They started fighting because they were all scared that the other people were
possessed
then,
by the enemies of humanity.
yeah, that they're scapegoating each other. Or they're also very scared that scared and felt threatened by each other's abilities.
Yeah,
Which kind of mirrors the beginning of the show, which is talking about that and how they should be controlled, or how the
right.
people who have talent should be controlled.
Uh huh.
Um, During this time, Nana I think still has her poison. She tries to poison him after he tells a story. As it turns out, his ability isn't only just switching to someone else, but it's also switching to someone else and having their power.
Mm-hmm.
So he survives by switching over to Kyoya, and then he does some weird mindfuckery to Nana by constantly switching between people.
I mean, that's more of just the reveal of I can become all these people.
Yeah.
I guess it didn't really imply I can also use their powers, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know why he was doing the look at all the people I can become, but I'm not using any of their powers. So this deduction of I'm safe is sort of a weird. I don't know. It was a weird moment now that I think about it.
I think it was just to scare her, to be mean. Also, I mean, he's
Yeah.
Kyoya, so he's basically he's invulnerable now, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
He's completely fine. So he's basically this is when Nana realized, oh shit, this guy's the real fucking enemy.
Yeah.
We need to fucking kill this guy. So
this dude is boss level powerful.
yeah. He's also crazy, and he basically tells her that he's the one that won the Civil War.
Yeah, he is the only survivor, I believe, is what he says.
No, he says he won it. But by being
Oh,
the
he just says he
survivor,
won it?
by saying he's by being the survivor, he has won it. Is his logic?
Okay.
Yeah.
But he implies that he's the only one left. Critically here, what I'm pointing out
Yes.
is that Kyoya's sister, who has come to this island before, may not be alive anymore.
Yes, there was a mention of a girl who started everything, which may have been Kyoya's sister.
Uh-huh.
But
Or it could have been also Nana's,
predecessor as well.
Yeah.
Because the guy, I don't remember his name.
I don't remember his name either.
Call him No Face.
Pinstripe suit.
Mentions that there may have been some conspiratorial things going on in the background that they weren't keen to.
Right.
And now that he knows that Nana's an agent of the government, he's trying to figure out why they're doing this.
Yeah.
And he's also fucking crazy.
Because as he mentions this and Nana poisoned him thinking that he was dead, she goes to her phone to talk to the committee to basically find out, hey, did you guys set up the Civil War? Did you guys cause this to happen before?
Okay.
But then, yeah, he returns as Kyoya, almost immediately and takes the phone out of her hands and is like, haha, I figured it out. All of your secrets are on this device.
At first I thought it was Kyoya for everyone, and I was like, what the fuck, how did he get there? And then he
Yeah, I
does,
did too.
Then he does the whole, switching thing. He switches to Inukai, and she's talking. I'm like, wait, how'd she get there too? It took me the fucking I think the white-haired kid to realize, oh, he's just switching between them.
Yeah, it took me a
What
while
fucking
too. I
idiot.
think I got somewhere around the white-haired kid or the fourth change where I was finally oh, it's the one dude just doing it a bunch. Now
Yeah.
I get it.
So now our girl's in a huge mess. She's found the final boss. He's fucking crazy. He can turn into anyone.
We don't know what his how it works or what his weakness is to it.
Yeah.
And she's got no friends on this island. Well, I guess technically she does have friends, but it's gonna be hard to convince him. Hey, we need to go fuck up this other dude who's
Yeah.
got crazy powers. You can't ask him why I want to do this.
Yeah.
He's gonna lie and tell you that I'm a murderer. Don't listen
he's
to him.
lying. My guess at some point, she has to find out a way, or you know what this could cause is moments where she's trying to kill him, but accidentally kills a friend, or not a friend, but one of the classmates.
Uh-huh.
But my guess is that the way to go about killing him is to make sure that he can't transform into Kyoya. Just as long as he can't do that, she should be fine.
Right.
The problem is that he's got time stop abilities too as well. And well, actually, we don't know that. We don't know how he's able to change into people. So that's going to be very crucial. It's going to be the crux of taking him down.
Because he was able to transform into Kyoya almost immediately after realizing he'd been poisoned. He was incapacitated on the ground and then was able to become Kyoya.
Yeah, it's basically an instant thing. But maybe he needs to have some little totem from them, a la Yuka, or maybe has to eat a hair or some shit like that. Who knows? Maybe it's a
It's gonna be
temporary
it's gonna
thing.
be some real weird sick shit. Like he has to like drink their
I have
blood
to
or
lick him in their sleep.
yeah. Or like they have to be wearing a piece of him.
Oh, weird. It's actually super weird. I'm not sure how that would work.
I don't know. I'm saying that. I mean, this dude's like weird and fucking gross
Yeah,
and like a little bit insane. So like his power is gonna be kind of gross.
definitely. But that's Mona and Nana. Um, holy
Oh, it might
shit,
have something
she's
to do with that bath salts.
what?
The bath salts, the
Oh,
gift that he bought for Nana.
ooh, that's maybe.
Because like everything comes back around in this show. So like I've got a feeling that those bath salts are gonna come back
I mean,
somehow. So maybe that's gonna connect to his power.
that's true. They have to bathe in his blood. That's the thing.
Oh,
I mean,
oh,
not a
that'd
lot
be
of blood, just a
grisly.
little bit.
Right, but still, that'd be grisly.
But anyways,
But
yeah.
we'll see. Yeah.
Let's go ahead and talk about other show with another Sherlock and another Moriarty.
Yeah.
Moriarty the Patriot.
Where are the Patriot? Where we have the end of one arc and the beginning of the other arc.
Yep. So we
Where basically the episode begins, as I recall, with throwing a body off of a boat.
yep we throw the body off the
Because
boat because Moriarty wants to like a trick.
yeah,
Um,
he wants to create the perfect scenario and just finding a dead body in this dude's cabin in the private quarters for the Richie Rich. That's
Yeah.
not the perfect scenario. There is a more public scenario. It's the one we've building up to. It's the ballet.
right, the one we all said it was going to be ballet.
Yeah. So they throw the body off of the boat. Somehow they've arranged some sort of like giant body catching net to be in place under the body. So like when they dump it off of the Richie Rich cabin,
Yeah, Morin
uh,
and Ed are there to
Morin
catch
and
it.
Fred are there to catch it below. I've got no idea how the fuck they fished that body out of thin air. That's like 180 pounds or probably like 220 pounds worth of dude flying down, like, you know, getting dropped off that balcony. That's fucking hard to do, especially with a net that you're just holding stretched out into like
Yeah.
open air. That'd
Uh,
be really fucking difficult. But somehow they're able to reel him in.
Maybe they just like
And this
I don't know.
begins Moriarty's setting up the perfect theatrical version of this crime now.
Once again, extra as fuck.
Oh, absolutely. But it's absolutely amazing, and I
Yeah.
love it.
Um,
So how he goes about this is at the
ballet.
ballet.
At the end of the first act.
Blitzenders is like fully freaking out at this point. Like he is all like up in his head as to what the fuck is going on.
Not just yet. That happens when he's put into that state. When Moriarty comes
I mean,
by.
he was agitated going into the ballet first, wasn't he?
No, he was kind of like, yay, the ballet. Everything's all done. I killed a guy. Moriarty helped me get rid of him. I'm here with my friend, just watching the ballet. And he's
Oh,
like,
was he
oh, bravo,
chill?
bravo. Type shit. Moriarty
Okay.
comes by after his friend leaves. Moriarty tells him, hey, like, there's a dude that looks like the guy you killed. And that's
Yeah.
when Blitzenders goes, oh, fuck, I need to go kill him again.
Right. And so this begins Blitz sprinting through the ship. He sprints through the ship to
Yeah.
get down to the regular level
The
because
commoner.
they were the
level.
commoner level because they were currently sitting up in like the balcony, nice little box seats. So he sprints down to the commoner thing, runs to where he saw him out in the audience, but he's not there anymore. So he basically tells the guy like, "I'll pay you if you tell me where the guy who was sitting here went." And the guy's like, "He went out that way," and then he runs away without paying the dude.
Yeah.
Real dick move.
Fucking asshole.
But Blitz takes off, like sprinting after him. He sees him at like the going like down the end of a hallway. So he
Mhm.
sprints off down that hallway, down some stairs, runs in. He's in some like weird, dingy basement type thing. Like everything's sort of like weird and fucked up looking. And he finds the dead body of the dude lying there on the ground.
He's like,
The
"Goddamn."
knife still shoved in his chest.
Yeah, this guy's totally fucking dead.
He's
But
like,
that's
"Fuck!
not
I
enough
just
for
saw
him.
you walk around, but
Yeah.
now you're dead again." But I mean, you know, you were just walking around, so I better make sure.
Yep.
So he takes the knife out and he starts stabbing him in the chest. And I mean, dude's worked up. He's just all adrenaline right now. So at this
Oh,
point,
yeah.
he's just putting that adrenaline to work, and he starts just stabbing a motherfucker over and over. And he doesn't realize that he's slowly being lifted up because, lo and behold, they were just underneath the ballet stage, and on one of the
Mhm.
pneumatic little uplift things, as they get lifted up onto the stage, where everyone in the audience and everyone in all the box seats can see Blitzender just going to town on this dude,
Shanking a bitch.
just shanking a bitch over and over. Like that dude is Julius Caesar in the Senate House.
And then everyone's
But,
like, hey, you're a fucking murderer, bro. And then there's like,
Yeah.
nah, it's a fucking commoner. Who cares? And his friend who was with
I
him
am
at the box
chosen
seat.
by God. I am Noah. You are all common or animals. I deserve to kill you.
Yeah. And then his friend who was there with the block seat with him, in the bottom says, "Hey, that's not very cool, bro." And Anders is like, "Well, you would have done the same thing. You hate them as much as I do." I'm like, "Oh, I hate them as much as you do. Yeah, don't get me wrong,
Yeah,
but I wouldn't kill them."
they're all
and,
fucking trash, but I wouldn't kill them.
and then Anders is like, "Fuck you," and then tries to jump
He
in.
tries to jump at him. He gets tackled out of midair by Sherlock,
Yep.
and
Then he starts running away from the popo from the security guards.
everybody starts whispering to themselves like, "That is Blitzenders. We all know that he secretly hunts people on his house, but nobody does anything about it because he's rich. But now that he's murdering people, let's all just talk about it openly." Which I mean, to be fair, people are
I
weird
think
like
no,
that.
people didn't know that was a rumor, and now they're like, "Holy shit! It's probably true that he fucking kills people in his hunting grounds."
I guess yeah,
Yeah.
but still, if there was a rumor like this dude hunts people on their hunting grounds, that's a pretty fucked up rumor to have. Where I was like, I don't know if I would want to talk to that dude.
Right.
The list of people I want to talk to, someone who has the rumor of likes to hunt other humans, I think I'm good. But yeah, so he starts running away from the cops.
And then Sherlock doesn't
As,
really give a shit and goes to the dead body to look at it.
yeah, because he starts investigating like the flexibility of the fingers and the flexibility of the jaw and things like that. And he starts to notice like,
Just
it's a little
poking and prodding
weird.
at it.
Yeah. But
It's
as
a
we
little
see,
cold.
Blitzender's sprinting around through the ship, and he eventually climbs up the mast. And he's like, "Haha! They'll never be able to get me on this thin piece of wood where there's no food or water. I'm safe
I
here."
am God.
And as he's looking down upon all of them from his chosen spot on the top of the mast, he's like, "I'm above all of you. Worship me. I am a golden
God.
god."
And then Morin just shoots him off.
And then more, yeah, shoots him near the hand, so he starts to let go, and he starts to slip, and then he falls. And as he falls into open space, he looks to the side, and he sees Moriarty just standing there with that grin of,
Cracking smile.
I've fucked you over good, haven't I?
I fucking love that smile.
It's a solid smile.
Yep. And thus, Blitz Enders, great fucking Gundam name, by the way, dies.
And much like every Gundam character, he dies.
He dies.
Um,
Falls off a yacht.
yep.
So after this, I thought we were gonna get into like Sherlock like grilling some people trying to figure out what happened. We just skipped straight to the end of the yacht ride.
Yeah. We're now back home as we basically just have like a little after action report of like, oh yeah, things went well, like it was a good performance we put on, and
Yeah, people
Marty's
are really
like, yeah,
pissed
we did,
off.
and yeah. But we met somebody new and interesting there, and we have a little flashback to Moriarty's interaction with Sherlock post boat ride.
Where Sherlock's like, hey, Sherlock basically tells Murray, hey, I think someone was behind that killing, because like the guy knew that the guy was probably dead. He was, working. He was just working it real hard.
Hmm.
The way he
And it was
talked,
so staged, like
yeah, it was so staged. It was literally on a stage.
yeah, and like somehow like why would they have been down there? Like why would a been down there, and why
Like
would
the
the
body
murder
was too
occurred right
cold,
there?
and like rigor
The body
mortis
was
had set
cold and
in.
rigor mortis set in, so it definitely been the body been dead for 24 hours. So why was he knifing a dead dude on that stage? Like everything about it was just a little bit like it didn't really make sense. Like why was this happening?
Yeah, so he comes to the conclusion.
Why was it all just so extra?
Yeah, so he comes to the conclusion that someone was behind this murder, or not the
Mhm.
murder, but someone pushed Enders to do this murder.
Yeah,
And then he
and
says his
and
line.
staged it to be the performance. He hits us with a solid Sherlock line.
I loved it. I fucking loved it. I was like, yay.
After we didn't get elementary, or we may not have gotten elementary last time.
Well, I
We
mean,
got
makes sense because Boston isn't here yet.
it's true. But we got if you eliminate the impossible, whatever's left, no matter how improbable, must be the truth.
Yep.
A solid line. Little known fact, or not a frequently known fact, there is a chance that Sherlock is actually related to Spock from Star Trek. Because in a episode of I forget
Star Trek?
yeah, what did I say?
No, sorry. I was just I was like, where else would like Spock be related to Holmes? It would only be Star Trek. Sorry. Just
Yeah.
Go on. Go.
In the William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy
So,
Star Trek.
1960s one.
Yeah. Spock at one point says something to the effect of like, "Oh, this is a." He says the Sherlock line and says that was a famous quote from one of my ancestors. So like, there is a chance that Spock is actually like a descendant of Sherlock Holmes, or it is implied in the show that Spock is a descendant of Sherlock Holmes, which
Makes
is
sense. Yeah.
kind of interesting that they like connect those two shows or connect those two pieces of
Characters.
fiction and that sort of, yeah, those two characters in that kind of weird way.
Um, which is weird because I'm pretty sure he wouldn't be related to this Holmes because this Holmes is much more different than I've seen him depicted before.
Yeah.
Where this Holmes is much more charismatic and like childlike, juvenile, and
Hmm.
we see in the next episode we see that he is very much juvenile, like basically looking just for a fun puzzle to solve.
Yes. Um, but he does seem to also be, yeah, he really enjoys it, even though this was a murder that was staged and set up and is like this horrific thing. He was definitely still enjoying himself of like,
Yeah,
this is a blast. Like,
he,
somebody set this all up just for me to solve. I am fucking having a ball.
right, he knows the gravity of the murder, but
Mhm.
like whatever. This isn't about the murder. This is about me solving this case.
Exactly. So they kind of Sherlock and Moriarty part ways after the boat ride with that knowledge that Sherlock knows what's up, and he's pretty certain like Moriarty also knows what's up.
Right. Actually, I would say in a way, Moriarty and like Holmes, I feel like are kind of switched. Their temperaments are switched. Because like the way I've always seen Moriarty depicted is that he is like somewhat juvenile. Like in the BBC show, he was like a little crazy and childlike, kind of like a court jester.
Okay.
Yeah.
Classic Moriarty is not depicted that way. Classic
Yeah.
Moriarty is very old.
Right. Right. I remember you saying that. In this one, they're
Hmm.
about the same age, or Sherlock Holmes might be a little bit older. It seems.
Yeah. So this is at least traditionally a more uncommon depiction of Moriarty.
Yeah, even more uncommon for Sherlock as well.
Yeah.
Um,
But the next episode we get is
basically a very Sherlock-centric episode where it's basically just Sherlock and Watson.
that is because it is actually a Sherlock Holmes story,
Yeah.
although not fully. It is
Study in
modeled
S.
after a Sherlock story. It is the Study in Scarlet.
Studying Scarlet. Okay. Is that when the girl
Yeah.
comes back? The girl comes by? The lady?
What girl? Oh, Irene Adler? No.
Yeah. Okay.
She doesn't show up until the Bohemian. I don't remember. The Bohemian Affair, I think is what it's called.
Possibly.
It's something like that. I'm saying it's the Bohemian Affair because I know that it somehow relates to the fact that she's like a prostitute, essentially.
Okay.
An escort.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's an escort, Nick. She's not one of those wenches.
She turns illusions for money. Um, it was a
Oh.
great joke from one of the later seasons of Arrested Development
Yeah.
when Job has to pretend to be a pimp.
Uh,
She's not some common whore. Only my girls only turn illusions for money.
what are your callbacks to the original joke too? God, what was the first?
They were a fucking
okay.
master of callbacks in that show.
Oh, okay. So I keep thinking that this one's supposed to be called A Study in Pink, because of the
Right,
BBC
'cause
one,
of
but
the
that's A
Sherlock,
Study in
yeah.
Scarlet. And this was not called this episode isn't called A Study in Scarlet. It's A Study in S.
Yeah,
Because I don't
because it is different.
Yeah,
it is
'cause-
not technically a Study in Scarlet.
A Study in Scarlet is like about a package, right?
No, it is related to the Study in Pink that you have seen on the Sherlock
Right.
show.
In Pink, that's like there's a pink baggage or a pink
Yeah.
luggage that they're investigating.
In the Study in Scarlet, it is a note written in blood because I think in the Sherlock thing, she like what carved it into like the wood with her
Oh, yes,
fingernail.
her nails. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. So I guess the reason why this is called A Study in S is because of the S in Sherlock that he wrote down.
yeah. But it was originally a Study in Scarlet because it related to the Scarlet Blood that he was using to write the note.
Oh, and he being one of the murderer.
The murder victim.
Okay. Oh, murder victim.
But I guess
okay.
yeah, technically would have been the murderer because I believe it was also the murderer who wrote the note was the ending conclusion in the Study in Scarlet.
And that's also the conclusion. This one is that the murderer wrote the Sherlock and not the guy who died.
Yeah. But we are sort of mixing it up because we begin this episode from
Yeah.
Sherlock's perspective as he is leaving fuck, I don't remember which way the numbers go. 321?
221B.
22 Oh, is it 221B?
It's
Okay.
221B Baker Street.
221B Baker Street.
With Miss
as
Hudson,
he gets accosted by a very young
Miss
uh,
Hudson,
Miss Hudson.
who
Yes.
who can get it,
I mean, she can.
and who also like has a thing for Sherlock. I think in this show. Possibly.
Yeah, possibly.
I mean,
It
who
seems
wouldn't?
like she's very tsundere at times.
Fucking love it. Anyways,
Uh,
that's another talk for another day.
but yeah, she is unusually young. I believe that even in the Arthur Conan Doyle book, she's depicted as like,
Probably being very old because
yeah, a widower or
widower, probably
widowess. I forget what the term is for. I guess just a
a
widow.
widow.
Yeah, I don't know why I was having so much difficulty with that one. Um, but we see that he's basically being accosted by
Yeah.
his landlady because he hasn't paid his rent in a long ass time, and so she basically tells him like, "Look, you need to find somebody to help you pay the rent." And lo and behold, fat fuck Stanford shows up to basically be like, "Hey, I know some people that you could talk to," and so Sherlock Holmes begins interviewing people to become his roommate.
All right, and they're
Uh,
all awful. You got a
yeah, they're all a host
prostitute.
of awful people.
You got a
Eventually, oh yeah, we have a prostitute. We've got the dude who's like, "You want to be my patron? Let me live here for free, and eventually I'll make it as an artist and pay you back."
said, well, said a lot of people ever actually.
Yeah.
And then the homeless guy.
Yeah. But none of them obviously our landlady is too keen on. So instead, they decide like, we'll continue this another day. And so Holmes goes off and off screen begins an experiment. And what we see is Dr. Watson arrive at the door, begin to walk upstairs, feel that something's off, turn the corner, and see a dead body laying on the ground.
Oh, we see a body in blood.
Yeah, we see a body laying in blood. And so he rushes to provide medical aid, and we find out that it's just Holmes laying in blood because he's
Cow
doing
blood.
an experiment. Cow blood, because he's doing an experiment
Yep.
about being able to deduce if a reddish brown stain is blood or if it's something else. Which, I mean, to be fair, for whatever it is, like early 1900s, that's a pretty good, like a pretty solid, piece of investigative, like knowledge to have,
Yeah,
is being able
forensic
to
knowledge.
figure out like, is this blood or not?
Right. And he, like you said, you wanted him to do experiments, and there you go. He's doing experiments.
Yeah, he's actually doing like a solid investigative experiment right there. So I can appreciate that.
Yeah. So it looks like he has experience in like science and forensic studies as well.
Yes. And from the previous episode, we also know that he has some experience in anatomy and in modern forensic techniques.
Yes,
When
that
they're talking about like
French
rare mortis.
taught him or something. He said
I
something
think
either
so.
disparaging about the French or something good about the French, and I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Just he said something about the
I
French.
also kind of forget what it was. It was some sort of investigative technique that he used to investigate the body.
Yeah.
Maybe it was blood types. I forget. But basically, we know that he's got a lot of skills, and he's picked up like some solid investigative techniques of his own.
Yep. And he decides that he's going to go ahead and grill Watson to see if he can be a good roommate. So they go to the pub with Miss Hudson. They start talking it out. And he decides to go to the bathroom and leaves Hudson alone with Watson, who, like, develop a pretty good rapport. Where Hudson's like, yeah, fucking Sherlock's a little piece of shit. He acts like a fucking child. I want him to caress me. You can hear that part. And Watson's like, oh, okay, sure. I'll live there. Why not? I'll be his flatmate. Out comes Sherlock. He starts talking to the other two. They start, chatting it up. And out comes, what's his name? The Scotland Yard guy.
No, Lestrade. Inspector Lestrade.
Lestrade comes by. The titular, not the titular. Just
He's not the titular in this.
He's not titular in anything. Lestrade comes by and says, "Hey, some dead dude wrote your name in blood, so that means you're probably the murderer.
Yes.
Let's fucking go."
This is very classic police behavior.
Yeah.
So he arrests Sherlock, and he's like, "Guess what? You're gonna spend the rest of your life in jail because this dude wrote your name in blood." So he drags Sherlock off to jail. As Sherlock's having the time of his life. He's like, "Somebody is obviously setting me up, and we were all together at the time of the murder. So clearly, the game is afoot.
Yep.
This is interesting."
Really, the way it should have gone is, "Hey, someone wrote your name in blood. Can we ask you some questions?" And then Sherlock should say, "No, you're the fucking cops. Get away from me."
Yeah. But what we also find out is the reason why they were so gung-ho about this as we get there is because there is Inspector Gregson, who Sherlock has royally pissed off in previous meeting.
But fucking who cares?
So Gregson is basically using his own personal vendetta to punish Sherlock because of this writing, and has now decided to incarcerate Sherlock just because he's an asshole. Um, while behind bars, Sherlock still is able to deduce from the piece of information that he learns that, like, hey, I am pretty certain I know why what you think happened definitely didn't happen. Can we go to the murder scene so I can tell you why you're dumb in your face while we're there?
Yep. And basically, the conclusion of that scene investigation is that whoever did the murder is not professional because he shot 4 times when a pro would have just shot once in the head.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever wrote the name in blood
Sherlock message on the blood.
was not the guy who died, because one, the guy who died was probably in a huge pain and didn't probably have the actual, fortitude to do that, and two, the finger sizes don't match. On top of which, in order to actually get that good of an actual name on the carpet, you'd have to do it over twice, which almost impossible for a guy who's literally dying from 4 bullet holes.
Mm-hmm.
And so Sherlock says an amateur did this, but the way that everything is set out doesn't seem like he was the one who planned it. So someone planned it behind him. So there's 2 people: the people who planned it, who know what they're doing, and then the guy who actually did the fucking crime.
Yes.
And hi, Sherlock, and neither of those 2.
Exactly.
And he slips a little note into Watson's pocket,
mm-hmm.
and I don't believe we know what that note is just yet. It's probably a note to say, "Hey, go talk to these Moriarty boys. They're a little sus."
Right. And this is where, like I said, this is kind of in reference to A Study in Scarlet, which was A Study in Pink in the Sherlock BBC show. But where A Study in Scarlet differs from both of those is that A Study in Scarlet doesn't actually relate to Moriarty in any way. So, it does feature the blood writing. In that case, it was Rache, Rache, written in blood. But Sherlock deduces that was actually just a misdirect, essentially. Like, it didn't mean anything. There was no reason for it to exist. It's purely for, like, the police to get sucked up in, like, there was this message in blood. Clearly, it must mean something important. It didn't mean anything. It was purely misdirect. And the end revelation of the investigation is that it was just this dude like killing people because I don't actually remember why he was killing people, but it didn't have to do with Moriarty. And this was different than the Sherlock BBC show because, as I recall, how A Study in Pink ends is that they learn of the existence of Moriarty in A Study in Pink, where the guy who's doing the killing basically says like Moriarty put me up to this. Moriarty told me to do this.
Right? Doesn't it happen because the lady who died was someone important, like a government official or something? I forget why.
Maybe I don't remember why. Why? I mean, Moriarty in the show, as I recall, I mean, this is true to actual Moriarty as well, is shown as somebody who is very like callous about human life and at the same time very calculating about the lives he takes. Where like he doesn't care if it's just some random nobody who's not doing anything to hurt anybody, as long as that person's death can contribute to something. So like if the contribution of that person's death is just like general terror of the city and he can get some sort of like gain out of the general terror, he wouldn't care if he just started offing random citizens on the street. Like as long as Moriarty was winning at the end of the day, that's all he cared about. So I don't remember if he was getting something specific out of those people's deaths or if it was just a general like I just like to see the people like I just like to see all of London afraid of me essentially or afraid
Okay.
of the person I'm paying to do these killings.
So back to the anime.
Mm-hmm.
We now cut over to what's going on in the background, which is basically a flashback, which is like the small event before the actual death, the murder happens, where Moriarty is telling this guy who says he has a terminal illness, telling him how to do the murder, and he's putting in the guy. I don't think we know his name yet to do this, and this is to test. Basically, this entire murder is orchestrated to test Sherlock to see how well it can do.
Mm-hmm.
Which that'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see
That's the first
how
real Moriarty
much it
thing.
continues to be. It is how much it continues to be A Study in Scarlet, because there is some stuff that we still haven't done. Specifically, the pillbox and the pills, which is another thing I think they use in A Study in Pink. Is the murders start occurring by basically like let's play a game, very Saw style, where you have to choose a pill. One is the safe pill, one is the death pill.
Oh,
So
right,
it'll be
right.
interesting to see if we start doing that at some point.
I don't know if we would, because it seems like
Hmm.
so this Moriarty like doesn't want to kill just fucking commoners. He wants to specifically kill the nobility. So
Right.
like I don't think that would be part of it.
Uh-huh.
Unless he like gave the nobility, she was like, "Hey, either give up your money or die." Unless that was the
Yeah.
choice.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I don't know how you'd like put that up to chance, sort of thing with the pills.
Uh-huh.
So it'd be done a little bit differently, but I think it could be like translated into a way that it works for this
Hmm.
Moriarty who has these specific goals, which isn't just terror, but it's a very specific type of terror to a specific
Right.
group.
I mean, to be fair, they are already like interpreting a study in Scarlet to their own purposes here, with like
Yeah,
rather than just being the case, it's specifically calling out Sherlock.
this one could just be like the setup is similar with the blood writing, and then everything else just kind of goes a different direction, and they'll like borrow small elements, but this is its
Uh-huh.
own case. It's not a study in Scarlet. It's its own little game with
Yeah.
Sherlock.
Uh-huh. But
Yeah,
it does it's an interesting thing to see because it means that like there's a chance that we'll see more of those like references to actual
yeah,
Sherlock Holmes stories, but then like adapted in ways that suit both of the uh like the tone and the characters of this show, but also like the plot of this version of Moriarty to like
well,
specifically go after the nobility.
like the Hounds
Yeah.
or Scandal in Belgravia. Belgravia.
Hmm.
It would be
The
interesting.
Hounds of the Baskerville.
So would you like to talk about anything else about? I fucked up sentence up. Anyways, is there anything else you'd like to talk about with in regards to Moriarty, the
um,
Patriot?
whew, I don't know. We still got a murderer going around loose out there. From the looks of the last scene we had with him, he's not done murdering too. This
What,
wasn't like our classic murderer of like I just want to kill this one dude and I'm good.
okay, so it wasn't just that. Like, what exactly was his plan? Like,
I don't know.
oh,
I guess we didn't really know what was going on in that last scene
okay.
where Moriarty was like talking to the guy in like the red room where he's like, I'm about to die, so
I
I
think
need to
there's a dead
go.
body in that room, like his wife, possibly. Someone was in that room. I think I saw like a hand. I
Well,
thought
I
the
thought that was the guy.
no, like I saw like a woman's hand. I thought like in a dress.
Oh, maybe you're right. Maybe there
Um,
was another person in that room.
but like it felt like she was. I don't know. I kind of glazed over that.
Uh huh.
But for him, like I thought his goal was, I just want to kill this one dude and I'm over with. But like he's out on a murder spree basically, and
Yeah, but
being
like if it was just like I want to kill this one dude, because I'm assuming that dude we saw at the end was the dude who killed the dead
yeah,
body.
yeah. But I thought that was it. Like I want to kill that one guy. The what was his name? Dagger, right?
I
Dagger.
think so.
I want to kill Dagger for doing something to me. I thought, or doing something
Right.
to my wife. I thought that was his reasoning.
Maybe.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't paying too much attention to it
I guess
in that
yeah. I'm
perspective.
taking too much of like a study in Scarlet into this, where
Right, where
in a
you're
study
expecting
in
more.
Scarlet, yeah, there are multiple murders.
Yeah, we will find out next episode. Um,
Right.
I wonder if this arc will be 3 or 2, like the last two have been.
Hmm.
Um,
I don't
but
know. I could see it. I could. On the one hand, I could see it ending in two, but at the same time, like I could see it stretching into three if they really want to have like some another like Sherlock Moriarty showdown.
yeah,
Because we are getting. I mean, I keep forgetting that this is like it's a one season show, but it's technically a two-season show, but it's just sort of split awkwardly.
yeah, it's a
Like it will
two.
end at the end of the season, but it'll
Yeah,
start again soon.
it's two cores with a gap core in the middle.
Right. But
Um,
like that definitely means that unless they do it really awkward, that there will be an ending ish, like a temporary ending at episode 12 or 13.
so there's either going to be some sort of like cliffhanger sort of type of ending, or there's going to be just like this is the end of the arc with more things to come in the next season.
Hmm.
Which wouldn't be awkward. It would just kind of be if you're gonna have like this sort of like split gap, you could very well like use it for, a cliffhanger to get people hooked into it, similar to what.
I'm just not a fan of long cliffhangers.
It's not that long. It's 3 months ish.
I mean, still, like anything more than a week, I just find
Okay.
tacky is the best way to describe it.
If the
A
show would
la
have
my
do
complaints about Orisuki and what they pulled.
that wasn't a cliffhanger. That was like it just stops.
I mean, but it's the same. Like, I'm complaining about them for the same premise. Where like you're just using the cliffhanger of as bait, as come back in 3 months so you can continue to see how the story goes. Where my complaint with Orisuki was buy the Blu-ray so you can see how the story ends. Like, you see how it's essentially the same complaint.
Kind of, but like in terms of the actual story itself, like well, I'm trying to find an argument for it, and I don't think I
Uh,
can.
yeah, because it's essentially the same thing of like you've split the story into this and that other part, and you're saying like
Right.
you need to watch that other part now. Like we're not going to end it on like a kind of satisfying ending, not like an ending, but like a place to stop. Instead, we're going to set up this cliffhanger that says come back when we continue showing the show if you want to know how the rest of this goes.
Right, but there's ways to do a cliffhanger where like you end a lot of pieces of a story of an arc.
Are
And,
there though?
yeah, I think so. I
Like
believe so.
how many things? Give me an example of something that genuinely stopped a show or stopped a like a multi-series thing and took a significant break on a cliffhanger, on
So
like a genuine cliffhanger.
trying to find ones that like we've both seen.
Uh huh.
Um, so I don't know if you watched all of Code Geass, but Code Geass does have like the cliffhanger at the end of uh, the first season, where like there's a bunch of things that do get resolved, and then you get like this final sort of showdown between two of the characters, and then it ends. Because it's a stupid gunshot, gunshot cut to black sort of thing, and that was the
Okay.
cliffhanger, where there's multiple things that like did get tied up, and then they get kind of like reintroduced, or not
Hmm.
reintroduced, but it's kind of like an hourglass where things kind of like slim down, and then that's a way to kind of open back up into the second season.
Right.
What's Nah, Lord of the Rings doesn't have like a sort of huge sort of like I don't know
They
how to
don't,
describe it, but
they don't
like
have any cliffhangers in Lord of the Rings. Every single one of the movies ends on like a summary. It like sums up everything and puts
right, okay.
all the characters in a good position at the end of every movie. Because
What else?
the first movie ends
With
with
them on the river.
yeah, Frodo and Sam leaving, and the rest of the group. That's not, I guess it's like
It's quasi cliffhanger because like the
yeah,
story's still
there's
going
a
on.
cliffhanger of like Merry and Pippin have been taken, but at the same time like they're not in imminent danger or anything. They're just have been kidnapped, but like they're no longer like in the middle of a fight. Nobody's life is like imminently being threatened, kind of thing. And then the second movie ends at the end of Helm's Deep, where like everyone is safe again, and Frodo and Sam are walking through some random forest near Mordor.
So I guess what I'm thinking more of is like that there's gonna I believe like you can have an ending in the middle of an arc that has like that's natural
Uh huh.
in Moriarty, not so much a cliffhanger, but like a natural sort of breathing point, which is in the
Hmm.
middle of the story. But for Orisuki, it was literally just like as if they stopped making episodes, right?
Yes,
That's where I draw my differences. Is like
that's fair. I guess we'll see how they do it.
yeah,
I still don't agree with you. I am still very much on the side of like finish the story. It doesn't have to be done. It has to end in a satisfying way. And like leaving it on a cliffhanger is, in my opinion, like a clear and obvious cliffhanger. A la what you talked about, like the gunshot fade to black thing. That is
that's what we're gonna get.
a obvious cliffhanger with obvious danger, and like leaving that as the like incentive to come back in 3 months and continue watching the show is just sort of gross to me.
Fat says we're gonna get that fucking shot and fade to black.
It's gross and exploitive. I don't think we will.
I hope we don't. I don't actually want to watch. To see
I
that.
think we're going to have either uh this
Wrecking
arc will end
balls.
next episode and we'll have a 3 episode arc that'll end, or we'll end 2 episodes from now, or yeah, 2 episodes from now, and have a 2-episode arc at the end. I think we've got enough time, basically, is what I'm saying,
For
to
2 arcs.
have satisfying ends to 2 arcs. I don't think there's any reason why we need to leave off at a cliffhanger.
I just feel like that's of any show like this would try to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just
I mean,
'cause,
we're not even
it's
close to like where
mysterious.
we would hit a cliffhanger though, because the cliffhanger to hit is
Reichenbach Falls.
the Reichenbach Falls,
Yeah.
which we're not going to hit until the next 13. I feel like.
No idea if we don't even know if that'll happen.
That's true.
But yeah, we shall see. Let's go ahead and talk about Akudama Drive, which we know is a show that's going to end at some
Yeah.
point. So Moon People, Nick.
Yeah, that was a development I did not see coming.
Moon People. Well, technically not Moon People, just people wanting to be Moon People. Also,
Yeah.
immortality, which we kind of got like a little glimpse of with the kid
Mhm.
not dying after getting like shanked in the stomach. But like legit, we've developed immortality type stuff. So
Yeah.
that's a development.
Because that was the first part of the first of the 2 episodes
Yeah,
that I
so-
remember is we basically see the backstory of the guy as we learn about the weird immortality fucking breeding facility that they have going on.
Yep, so episode 7 is he tells us about himself and says, "Hey, I'm actually a big experiment. 2,502 people before me, all were failures. I was the first one to gain immortality, and now here's my sister, 2,000, 3,000 some odd after me, now also has immortality.
Yeah.
And we also want to run away. We don't want to go to Kanto. We want to go up to the moon, and that's why we
Yep.
came to Expo Park because there's a rocket here, which
Because we heard
works.
about people living on the moon. Yeah, probably. Yeah, there's the amusement park or whatever Expo Park is. I guess it's not an amusement park. It's like a learning park.
Which
a
still,
walkthrough museum.
still has a working rocket.
Yeah, which does not in any way, shape, or form look large enough to fly to the moon. And to be fair, we learned later it does not. It's not able to fly to the moon, but still, like, when I saw the thing, I was like, there is no way that has enough fuel in it to get to the moon. Like, rockets that go to the moon are fucking gigantic.
I mean, also, he is a kid.
I mean, that is true. And
Um,
all he knows is that he's heard of the moon and that there are probably people there.
and so he dips out. That's where he wants to go. That's why he's at Expo Park.
Yep.
Courier's job is complete.
Yeah, he's delivered the package
he's
to
delivered
where
the
it
package.
needs to go. Everyone else has safely gotten him there, so everybody gets paid.
Yep. We also find out that Brawler dead as dicks. He's fucking gone.
Yeah.
Packer nowhere to be seen.
Yep, still nowhere to be seen. Probably not
Doctor,
coming
it was
back.
the Doctor all along. We were both wrong.
We were both wrong. Doctor was the undercover. Although technically she wasn't even undercover. She was just a flipped agent.
Yeah. So there could still be an undercover executioner, maybe, but like I highly doubt at this point because I
Yeah.
don't think it's fucking.
Dude, I still don't know.
You still,
I kind of don't think it's her anymore as like
not
the,
Swin.
as-
Sorry, I wasn't thinking of Swin. I was thinking of the guy with the pompadour.
Oh no, it's fucking not him. There's
It's
no
not
way it's
him.
him.
He's been less annoying though these last few episodes,
Right.
and now he's being
Because he's all suffering and angsty.
yeah, and now he's being toyed with by Doctor. Not much
Yep.
you can do because she'll fucking kill him.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, as we saw, a doctor who, for flipping on all of them, basically got all of her crimes wiped out, has no qualms about going straight back to committing crimes.
so first off, let's talk about episode 7 real quick to make sure that we get to that point. In episode 7, yes, we kids want to go to the moon. They can't. Doctor flips. Out come the executioners who start this big battle. Little Big Brother pushes Swindler and Little Sister into the rocket. Rocket launches off, and they get sent off to bumfuck nowhere in the middle of the desert because the rocket wasn't big enough to go to the moon.
Yeah. We don't
and-
find out until the next episode, but yeah, they get sent off in the rocket and everybody else gets left behind.
And the kid gets caught. We learn the next episode that all the Akudamas basically somehow managed to escape.
Right. From the exhaust, or whatever you want to call it, of the rocket taking off,
Which
which
would've
basically
killed
just
all
created like a
them anyways,
gigantic
but
smoke
whatever.
screen. It would kill them all anyways, but, we're ignoring that. Or at the very least, like, fucking blow them to the ground, because that has, like, an amazing amount of force.
Yeah. Courier is somewhere out in the desert as well.
Yeah.
Bum is just looking for some drugs.
Right, he went back to
The
the
city.
city, but I guess it was like not as much of a fuck as Swindler was, so he's not currently on the run. Uh,
Cutthroat is just walking in the desert with a limp
right, he's following where the rocket crash landed because he's looking for his angel.
because he wants to kill her, as we find out at the end of the episode 8.
Hmm.
And
Uh,
Swindler also goes to the big city. And
yeah.
then immediately gets fucking caught because she tries to use her fucking money that she got. She tries to use her blood money
Yep. She's like,
immediately.
I got straight bank. Let's go buy takoyaki. I'm gonna pay for it with my seal. She does not understand the concept of cold hard cash and untraceable currency. So of course she puts her seal in, and the computer that runs the whole thing is like, "Yo, you're straight up a criminal, girl." Um,
So they run
there is an
away.
impressive amount of like information dissemination because pretty much immediately like every screen in the surrounding area flips to like, "Hey, this girl is somewhere in this area, and she's got this huge ass bounty on her head. Go
That
get her
shit's
ass."
cyberpunk as fuck because that's probably going to happen in the future.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be not Gucci. Um, but for now, we get to enjoy it through the lens of anime and not consider the horrors of what could await us in the near future. Um, although I kind of, some part of me also looks at like, this is an aside, but I've been watching a lot of Futurama lately, and that's like kind of a prediction of like at the time what they thought like the future could look like, at least in terms of like the internet and stuff like that, and like how we would use the internet in the future, like in
Porn.
the year 3000. But like the way they depict it, like specifically ads, is like
Oh yeah.
so fundamentally different from how they are now in 2020.
Wait,
Like,
no, but I think Futurama the ads for people, right? Who talk to you?
well, they were also like they have like the spam, like when they go into like the VR internet and they the spam mail that like
Oh,
flies at you, and it's like the old pop-up ads and stuff like that, like early 2000s shit.
yeah. Now ads are a bit more kind of disseminated into like regular articles and stuff.
Yeah, they're not as like intrusive or like disgusting
I mean,
looking.
they're still intrusive.
I wouldn't say,
Some ads are
I
so
don't know.
fucking awful.
To be
I,
fair, I have ad block, so I don't know if I've
Ease.
seen
Yeah,
that in a
so
long
do
time.
I. When I was on my phone though, like I saw this one Newsweek article. I clicked on it.
Hmm.
I couldn't fucking move. I couldn't read the article because I kept getting pop-ups. I was like, wow, this is fucking garbage. Never going to Newsweek
Okay.
ever again. Unless I
Okay.
have like, unless it's just straight HTML with no fucking JavaScript. I'm not fucking looking at that fucking web page because it's just
Right.
absolute fucking garbage. I
Yeah.
digress. Ads can still be awful. Ads are still awful because now like if it's not a pop-up ad, it'll be like it'll be basically in an article that's trying to make itself look like it's legitimate, and it's really just trying to get yourself to buy something. That's
Correct.
beside the point.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk, we're in
All
there.
this was, yeah, to point out like a lot of the doom and gloom predictions may not be accurate because historically we are shit at predicting how technology will be used in the future.
I don't know. Some of them are
Um,
pretty good at predicting stuff, even if like, it's a
some of
little
them are
off. It's a
good,
little
but
off.
like some like in some other ways, like we've been wrong in some pretty fucking historic ways in terms of like just our ability to predict like how much technology will or won't improve in the near future. Like I mean stuff like Back to the Future when they go into the year I forget what it was, like 2018,
2020.
2016, 2020.
Yeah,
Okay.
or
Um
2019.
29, okay, that's more believable. I was like, it definitely was not while we were in coronavirus times. 2019 is believable. And they had like fucking hoverboards and flying cars and shit like that.
Wait, 2019 or
Uh,
2016?
it was definitely a year that we've passed. I don't remember what year.
Maybe it
It
was
definitely was not
2016.
this year.
I remember hearing about a bunch of the Biff jokes. Biff for president.
Yeah.
Anyways,
But yeah. So anyways, this is all just an aside of like to not be so defeatist. Um in this cyberpunk world, they do have the information dissemination. Swindler is now on the run and is realizing like, hey, I can't
do
just hang
anything.
out in like normal society anymore. So she goes off into the outskirts of society and basically finds like some weird rundown warehouse to live in,
Yep.
which she really should have realized was like maybe somebody else has posted up in this
Fucking
warehouse because there's
crack
like food
den.
and water. Um, and so her and the girl basically like
Eat some food.
eat some
Get washed
food,
up. Put on
yeah,
some
wash up, change
clothes.
clothes. Swindler decides like because everybody knows my face and I've got a bounty on my head, like I'm gonna change my look so people can't, hunt me down immediately when I go
Yeah.
back to town. And then the dudes who live there show up again. And in classic dudes who live on the outskirts of society ways,
They're all
they're super
fucking
fucking
awful.
gross. Yeah.
One of them tries to steal the kid. Well, they all try to steal the kid. One of them just
Yeah.
creepier about it.
Not just steal the kid, take the kid away so they can sell the kid.
Yeah, but I didn't want to say that.
I mean, that is definitely what they were going for, though. They explicitly
Yes.
say many times.
We're gonna sell the kid.
And one of them delivers possibly one of the grosser lines I've heard in recent memory, which was, and I quote, "Make sure you check her this time to make sure she's actually a girl." And I was just like, in every way, that sentence is horrific, both for what it is, like what it's actually telling, and what it's implying. I hate that sentence.
Anyways, 5 minutes later, they're all dead. It's all good.
Yeah,
But our girl is severely traumatized.
yeah, because Swindler basically, as they threaten the girl with bad touch. I should not have said that. I'm sad again.
They threaten the girl. Swindler gets a
Swindler straight up loses it. She grabs the fucking
the
the
can.
tin can they were just
Dude,
using to
that's
eat,
what I was thinking.
and
I was
just
like,
straight up knifes the dude with it.
I was like, I wonder if she could use the tin can because that's a pretty sharp thing, right? Like you could definitely use it to hurt someone. And
Oh,
she picks it up and
absolutely.
just stabs the motherfucker in the eye.
In the eyeball.
He immediately dies, which is a little weird because like the other dude gets shanked in the fucking neck and still gets up to shoot her.
I mean, it wasn't in the neck. It was in the
Nah.
like the soft spot in between your collarbone and your neck.
I mean,
Like it wasn't into your neck. It was down.
But I can still get like an artery, like for the eye, like.
I mean, it can, but it's not like she's not knifing into your throat where there's like a whole bunch of really critical things that are all shoved together into a small space. Like in that dead space in your neck, like there is an artery there that's really important, and if you miss that, like there's nothing else there.
I'm just saying, like the eye, collarbone part, like I feel like the collarbone part would be like a lot worse.
Well, I mean,
Anyway,
I don't know how dense the skull is at the back of the eye, but like
Yep.
I'm assuming like that part of the bone is a lot thicker than like the rest of your skull. So like it could have just been like she just got it into his brain too, because like it's sort of like circular, so it's not getting stopped as soon by like the top of like the eye skull, so it kind of just got in there. I don't know. There's an
Regardless,
argument that says like
doesn't
you
matter.
definitely could kill a person that way.
he got hit in the eye. He's dead. There's another guy tries to shoot in the face. No, actually, this is the really creepy part where she says, "Don't worry, I'm a virgin. You can sell me." Tricks.
Oh yeah,
It's classic swindler. I still like that she's still a swindler. Fucking amazing.
right. Yeah.
Tells her that you can go and check. During that time, that's when she shanks the dude in the neck.
Yep.
Collarbone area, whatever. And then the other dude like isn't being a homie and like spotting him. He's just standing there. He's like, "Oh shit, you fucking killed my two friends."
Yeah.
I'm
I
gonna
was
shoot
wondering.
you now.
They're very like classic video game enemies of like we're going to come at you one at a time. Uh,
Also, I'm gonna shoot you 5 times, miss. And then the chick who like has almost never shot a gun before gets up and just fucking one taps him and he's out, dude.
Right?
Right in the fucking skull. Like his skull explodes.
Yeah. That was some fucking John F. Kennedy shit.
Oh god. But where's the magic bullet, Nick? There was a second shooter.
There was a second shooter at the grassy knoll. The umbrella man, Brandon. Why was that man holding an umbrella?
The umbrella man is fucking Courier, who comes in and claps cheeks after he fucking just knocks a motherfucker out who has a knife in his neck to help out.
Yeah, neck knife didn't actually die. He gets back up and he's like, "Now I'm gonna hurt you." And then fucking Metal Fist Courier just comes in and knocks the dude out in one punch.
And now Swindler's safe. And Courier.
We find out that Courier has returned because he was given the
task of delivering the
little bag made out of people's
bag.
shirts, I think is what it was.
Yeah.
Or yeah, it was like
Little
loose
lamp.
threads from people's shirts. Yeah. From the clone facility, he had to deliver it from the brother to the sister, and now that that is accomplished, Courier's like, "Cool, package delivered. I'm outie."
I'm outie. And Swindler's like, "Hey, go help me. I need to help this kid." And manages to get through to Courier, who says, "All right, fine, fuck it."
She's like, "Deliver us to this place. I'll pay you everything I've got." And Swindler's like, "Not acceptable." And she's like, "I will pay you in my gratitude." I actually don't remember what like her second offer was, but somehow at some point Courier was like, "You know what? Good enough. Get on the bike. Let's go."
I was gonna say, "Yeah, I've got enough money. I'll just do it for free. Whatever."
Yeah.
And so now,
yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we like how many of the characters at this point
Stay
now like
alive.
continue to be a thing. Yeah, and stay alive, make it to the end.
because like Okay, back to the whole doctor thing. Doctor absolutely like absolved of all her crimes. Immediately, the first fucking scene we see of her back, she like has killed 3 dudes and then kills another
Yeah,
guy who just
and
walks
kills
up to
another
her.
dude. Yeah,
Like, lady, you could have just asked him, hey, can I use your like your lab for a little bit? Like, I just need to like check this sample, and they would have
right.
been like, fuck
Or
it, sure.
bought it with like the 10 billion that you just made.
Yeah, instead she just fucking kills them. God damn it, lady.
Right? This girl just fucking has no qualms about like I'm just gonna continue to be a criminal. That's what I know how to do best. So fuck it.
Yep.
Who cares? I'm not gonna enjoy that 10 million in any way, shape, or form.
And now, yeah, someone's gonna fuck next episode. I don't know who it is. I couldn't tell.
Oh, I didn't watch the preview.
The preview, there's like a bed scene. Someone's
Ah,
like getting up.
somebody's getting it in next episode.
Yeah, someone is. I don't know who it is. I think it's
Interesting.
Doctor with the bum.
With the hoodlum dude.
Yeah, with Hoodlum. That's his name. Hoodlum.
Gross.
But yeah,
Basically interspecies breeding.
that's Akudama.
Yeah.
Fucking wild. Next episode is called The Shining. If it does not, okay, if that show does not have a fucking like a dude, if that episode doesn't have a dude with the fucking like laser axe, fucking with the limp, just running around for these fucking guys, I'm gonna get pissed off. Oh my god!
I mean,
no,
none
we've
of
got someone
our-
with a limp. We've got someone with a limp. Cutthroat.
Oh, we do have something
Oh
with
my
a limp.
god! Please let this happen.
I don't think he's gonna get an axe and chop down the door. Maybe he'll use a knife and chop down the door, though.
If he's a sharp object and he's limping and like they're going through the fucking maze, I'll be fucking happy. That'll be
Okay.
good enough for me.
Uh
We've got a kid, we've got a mom. It's all set.
huh. If we had the boy twin back, we could have them dressed in the outfits too at the end of a hallway.
Oh my god. Yeah, we could. Or that's, or maybe there's more kids now, and they'll be the little twins in the hallway.
Oh, more immortal twins.
Yeah.
Well, the facility's all fucked up and shut down, isn't it? Wasn't that the ending? When they put them in when they got the second one, they were like, "We've accomplished our goal. We've produced 2 of you. Now we're going to send you to the other place."
Oh, maybe
So I think the facility shut down.
it is possible. But we won't know until next episode, which is I think
Yeah.
Thursday.
I think so.
Ah,
I mean, for those of you following along at home for ABC, who knows when you'll hear us talk about the next episode? Could be in a week. It could be in like a month and a half.
you don't know me.
I know you.
I mean-
know you to the depths of your soul.
Now that my license expired, I can't really go anywhere.
How did your license expire?
Because there's every single fucking okay, well, one bad one
Bad time management is what I'm assuming.
not bad time
okay.
management, just incredibly bad foresight.
Okay.
Two, the fact that the DMVs are basically all around our area because there's a lot of people around our area are basically the appointments are pushed out 2 months. So like
Oh, you
right-
have to make appointments to go?
yes,
Okay.
it has to be an appointment. So they're pushed out 2 months. Three. Well, yeah, it was just those two. A bad foresight on my part, and then the fact that the appointments are 2 months out. So what ended up happening is like I didn't know when my like stuff would get renewed, like when documents would get renewed. So just like okay, well I won't know, so I don't know. I can't really know when I can go get it renewed. Completely forgetting that like I could have just chosen a really late time and said okay, this time before my license expires, but after some amount of time where I'm fairly positive that I'll get my stuff renewed. I'll just like I'll just have an appointment there just cause. And if it doesn't work, then I'll just push it out. It doesn't matter, right? I could have
Right.
done that. I didn't fucking do it because I'm a fucking idiot. And two, the appointments are pushed out 2 months because there's so many goddamn fucking people here, and like I can't do it online. I can't do it on the fucking mail. It fucking sucks.
Yep.
Oh well. Anyways, what would you like to sell us to today?
So today I was going to sell out to something different, but instead I will sell out to a group of people that I don't actually know who specifically I'm selling out to, so it's more of a general group of people. But I'm selling out
The
to
gays?
no, the individuals who pushed for the introduction of the Halo into
Oh
F1.
yes, I saw that clip.
Yeah, because last
It was
Yesterday,
yesterday. It was
yeah, it was
yesterday.
Sunday morning, our time. There was a race, the Bahrain race in the 2020 Bahrain race, and in the first lap, there was a very horrific incident where Romain Grosjean's car basically got ripped in half, and the cockpit of his car basically jammed in between two metal barricades. And if it had not been for the Halo system,
He
it
would have been
would have
decapitated.
decapitated.
Yeah.
Yeah, there would have been a televised decapitation. And because people pushed for it, it was introduced, I want to say,
Pretty
like
recently.
4 or 5 years ago. Yeah. Um, and yeah, if it had not been for that piece of whatever it is, carbon fiber, solidified steel, I'm not certain what it's made out of, he would not be alive today. So, to whoever pushed for it, to whoever thought of it, to everybody involved with the process, I want to give a huge shout out to you guys because, I mean, that straight up saved a dude's life. I mean, it saved a lot of dudes' life over the course of the last couple of years, but yesterday was probably the most horrific incident I can think of in recent memory where that was a clear example of that single thing saved that man's life.
Yeah, because he like
So,
ran straight into the barrier.
yeah, it was head on straight into that barrier, and you can tell like afterwards, like looking at the cockpit, you could see where it had both like it had gone in between the two pieces of metal, and the halo had wrenched it up and over his head to like keep Romain Grosjean safe, and you could see like where it was scratched along the halo, where like the halo had basically held strong as it like tore through the metal. So you could see just how much strain was put on that thing, and it held strong and like actually protected him. So a huge shout out to everybody involved with that. You guys straight up saved a dude's life yesterday. That is
Well,
what I'm going to sell it to. What would you like to sell out to?
something a lot less serious. I'm going to
Hmm.
sell out to Battle Block Theater.
Okay.
A fun little co-op game that Nick and I played a while ago. We recorded a
Yep.
lot of it. I don't know where it went. But holy shit,
Got
like,
shot off into the ether.
yeah, very fun game.
Yeah.
Very challenging at points.
Oh yeah.
Especially trying to get like all the little achievements. Um, and yeah,
'Cause, yeah, there's definitely the like let oh god less difficult way of playing it. Of they're
just
both
finish it.
get all the gems and like beat it in a certain time. I think there's the other thing that you can do.
Yeah, so
Maybe there
I
was
think we
also
got most of the gems, but we didn't do the time part.
yeah
Sometimes we tried for the time, but there were a couple of times where like it was just way too fucking hard and we just skipped over it.
right.
Um, but like all the puzzles were very interesting.
Hmm.
Finding out how to do them quickly and getting all the gems as well was very fun and challenging.
Yeah.
Great fucking game. Um,
It was
I
a fabulous game.
love
The
to play it
boss
again.
rushes were all pretty enjoyable. Of like trying to, because it was like two or three different maps all put together, and you had like a timer on certain points of like you had to be going at a certain speed. So trying to figure out like the way to get through
Oh
a
yeah.
map at speed, it definitely added a component to like all of the boss stages that was really enjoyable.
Um, on top of which, there's actually a lot of like community maps that I've heard are also very fun.
Okay.
Yeah. Go play Battle Block Theater. It's only like not a lot of money.
Yeah. Maybe $9. I don't know.
Yeah, not that much, but it's a very
Oh,
fun
not even
game.
that much.
Yep.
Okay.
But that's what I would like to sell it to today. Thank you for listening to another episode of ABC. Um,
Yep. It's been enjoyable.
it's been a long time since I've edited any of this shit.
Yeah. Brandon's our only editor, and he's very bad at it. Doing
I'm
it on time. I don't know if he's bad at editing or not.
I'm editing. I'm very bad at time management. Yes, that's very true. I will not deny that.
Yeah.